What up, Ralph Leaders? Welcome back to my channel. We're back on the public road. This is the East Bank Public Road to take a follow-up look at what's happening with this new Demerara River Bridge. It's actually Sunday morning, Sunday the 20th of April, Easter Sunday. So happy Easter for those of you who celebrate Easter. But this is what the bridge looks like now, 1 week after they crossed the, as they built the overpass over the bridge, over the road. This is what it looks like. So let's get close up and see how much work they've completed and what they actually did. This is a group from local church here at Peters Hall. We're in Peters Hall, and this is the sunrise group marching at sunrise. Resurrection Sunday, so there's a tradition here where some churches will have a sunrise service and others will have a parade, an Easter parade. So this is one of the local churches having their Easter parade here in Peters Hall. Jesus is hallelujah. Yeah. But we're here to see the new bridge, the new Demerara Bridge, new development. I lost my stabilizer today because, of course, something went wrong with it. Probably need to get a new gimbal. But this is what the bridge looks like on the 20th of April 2025. Sunday the 20th of April. They have made some progress, as you can see. The bridge is now crossed the road, so there is a verified overpass here at Peters Hall, and they've added 2 more stages, 2 more steps to the length of the bridge. As you can see, it's now 2 more posts, 2 more sections closer to the river, and a lot of the other risers, the poles leading up to the high span section of the bridge have been completed. Those are the towers above the roof of the buildings here in Peters Hall. And of course, we're about a quarter of a mile south of the old Demerara Harbour Bridge. That's right about where the overpass, that is the pedestrian overpass, is located. We just came from that direction. But let's get closer and see how much work they've completed on the remaining sections of the bridge. So guys, here we are almost underneath the bridge, and it's actually massive and imposing when you see it in person, up close in person. This is what the remaining sections towards the river look like. So in the distance you can see the high span. That's the high span section. Those towers closer to completion now than they were before. The ones closest to us, that is the 2 towers closest to us, seem to have reached their zenith, the point of maximum height. The other 2 in the background, you can see there's still some steel sticking out of the top, which means they're probably going to go higher on those 2. And they're actually working very quickly on these pillars. Somebody said they should be called columns. They're working very quickly on the remaining pillars or columns to support the the roadbed, the ramp. So they've added 2 extra ramps, 2 extra sections to the ramp since the last time we were here, about a week and a half ago. And it's a Sunday morning, so I don't see a lot of workers here. Sunday, it's about 7:45, 7:45 a.m. and the workers seem to have been largely dismissed for the holiday, or maybe they're coming out later on in the day. But this is what is happening here at Petersburg. So you can see looking towards the river, there are an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of pillars or towers or columns that have to be completed before you get to the high span, that is the riverbank. And at the rate they're going, my estimate is they can probably get there in 2 weeks. I think they've completed 2 sections in the last week, or 1.5 sections in the last week. So what you can see from this vantage point is that they are laying the riverbed and closing the gaps between the beams. They're basically extending these concrete beams from one pillar to the next, and then eventually closing that gap between the pillars to form the roadway. So you can see the spaces between those concrete beams still exist for the latest addition, but they're actually closing the gaps with what appears to be rebar, and then probably a bed of concrete, poured concrete. And this is what it looks like on the underside of the bridge. So they've completed about 1.5 new sections to the bridge in the last week and a half since we were here. I think we were here 2 Wednesdays ago. So about a week and about 10 days ago, last time we looked at this. And since then they've actually completed, they've moved just crossing they've moved on from just crossing the East Bank Public Road. That is, last time we were here, they had just completed this section across the East Bank Public Road, and they've moved on to the next section, and then half of the adjacent section. So they've laid about 1.5 gaps. They've closed 1.5 gaps in the last 10 days. So it's about 1 of these gaps being closed per week. We have about 5 more of those gaps closed. So maybe 5 weeks. Maybe it'll take another 5 weeks to complete this section of the ramp leading up to the riverbank, where the highest span, the high span begins. And that's what you can see in this view in the distance. You can see the peaks, the towers above the high span, and you can see the remaining tiers of pillars or columns towards the edge of the riverbank. So again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 pairs. So 5 fares, I would say 5 weeks to close that gap, which brings us to probably mid-June. So by the middle of June, you should see this complete set. This the completion of the east side of this ramp. And somebody asked me to show them what the road leading up, the access road leading up to this bridge looks like. I'm going to do that in the next video because today I seem to have lost the use of my stabilizer. I'm going to have that repaired or replaced soon. This is what it looks like so far at 8 a.m. on 20th of April 2025. Want to see more content like this? Click like and subscribe. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening in the fastest growing economy in the world's Guyana. Later! That's the Ramada Hotel and Princess Casino. And that's looking towards the airport, Chedichagan Airport. It's probably time for us to go take a look at the new Marriott, Courtyard Marriott, again at Chedichagan Airport. But this is what it looks like at this hall.